Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
What a wonderful event so far. It has gone so well. But people don't know about the Diocese of Orange. Tell us a little bit about the Diocese of Orange.
Well, the Diocese of Orange is 1.2 million Catholics. We've grown threefold in the last 37 years. We were only established 37 years ago, so we're a relatively new diocese in my book. And it's a vibrant faith life here. We're very blessed, I think, if you can see the number of people that came here for really a relatively, we are the 7th largest county in the nation, we've been told. But I still think that when you think of 346% growth of Catholics in 37 years. Not bad. It's a good place to be a Catholic.
You're doing something right.
We're having Magnificat days.
Talk about your role here as you move here into this cathedral, and I know your husband's involved as well,
Yes.
and maybe if you could share with us that.
Well, my husband was asked by the bishop to be the interim CEOO. So what that means is, as we transition this property into a Catholic property, there's a lot of things that have to be addressed. Use, how are we going to transform the space for sacramental worship? So all of that is taking place. We have many committees, almost all volunteers stepping forward to have discussions about, well, should we have music concerts? What will they be? What will we do in terms of museum exhibits? Lectures. But it's really so exciting because we now have the ability to have a space to host Catholic things. I mean, if you will, show off our Catholicism and invite everyone to come and be a part of it.
How exciting was it, though, the day that you found out that the Crystal Cathedral and the property here, and Mr. Schuler, Reverend Schuler, was so good to the Catholic Church in this regard, it was going to become a Catholic church?
Quite honestly, this space traditionally is someplace where all Christians would come for their pageants. They would have something called the Glory of Christmas and the Glory of Easter. So we recognize this space, if you will, as almost just a place to come and enjoy a pageant. The idea that it was becoming Catholic worship space became very exciting. One, because the architecture is very interesting, but two, because it was such a different turn of events, if you will. And then in terms of what it expanded us in terms of the opportunity to have this space, I mean, we're 34 acres here, and it's fenced. So now if we have a Eucharistic procession, we mean business.
It's a long procession.
Talk about this 34 acres here, and I know as you've come in and helped with sort of the transitioning here too, you probably learned a lot about this space more than you've known before, but maybe if you could share with us some.
Sure, happy. So when we purchased the space, it was this amazing location in the middle of Orange County. We're about a mile from Disneyland, a mile from Angel Stadium, which is where baseballs are played, a mile from a hockey stadium, about 8 miles from a mall, and 10 miles from the beaches. We are very centrally located here in Orange County. Take that, and we thought, wow, this is an amazing gift in terms of the real estate property and the buildings. But what we didn't even think about, and what has been, again, just this revelation of gifts, this was where Reverend Schuler broadcasted his Hour of Power for 40 years. To his audiences. This has an amazing electronic footprint all over the world. You have tour buses that pull up here daily from places all over of faithful coming to see this property. So that was something we had no real sense of. So we have that. Separately, because it was broadcasting from here, we have an amazing opportunity to create Catholic content and to potentially broadcast or invite others that want to use the space to develop content and broadcast from. We haven't really even begun to explore that, but we know it's there. So right now we're really drinking from a fire hydrant, but but it's a Catholic fire hydrant, so it's really amazing.
As I look through the congregation here today, the community here today, very diverse, very diverse. Tell me about the diversity of this diocese.
We're traditionally an Anglo community. Our closeness, proximity to Mexico, and just, a very strong Latino population. There's been a very strong influence and immigration of Latinos, but we had a huge influx of the Vietnamese population. So those three probably are the anchors. But we now have a large Korean population and Chinese, Filipino. I mean, we are, if you will, a microcosm of what the face of the United States is, but here in this tiny 100 square mile area. So it has been a dynamic part of our growth.
Now, when you do a purchase like this, there's always risk involved. It says a lot, I think, about your bishop and forward thinking that he moved forward with this project.
Absolutely. It was beautifully in this, the anniversary of Vatican II. I will share with you that the impetus was the lay faithful. It was the laity that came to the bishop and said, Bishop, this is an opportunity. And how providential that in this year, the anniversary of Vatican II, that it would be the case, that it was the lay faithful that said to the bishop, Bishop, we have to make this happen. And it really was the momentum of this group of lay faithful that said and laid it out and negotiated and did everything they needed to do to get it before the bankruptcy courts. Mm-hmm. We purchased it in bankruptcy, but what people don't realize is we had to borrow the money. Mm-hmm. You know, Catholic,
I didn't know that.
No, dioceses don't have 57 million laying around. So, and we are no different. And so we borrowed the money, and now we are engaged in a capital campaign. And I think that's what's very exciting for us. It'll be the first capital campaign in the 37-year history of this diocese that we're embarking on. But we feel very confident, again, that this community has the wherewithal. And I think actually the national Catholic community will see this as a space that really belongs to Church Universal. It happens to be in Orange County, but really this is a space for the entire church.
I think you're exactly right about that. The excitement that I have heard, the moment I heard about the purchase, even all the way over to the East Coast, it was amazing because I think it shows the vibrancy of the church and I think it also shows that the church is alive and it's growing. I think you've done a great thing out here.
Well, the reality is we are the West. We're still the Wild West. There's pioneers out here. We're Catholic pioneers, but there's an opportunity for everyone to come and visit. Again, we are located in just a wonderful place from a weather, you know, we're famous for our weather, but just everything surrounding us. So if you come now to the future Christ Cathedral as a Catholic, there's a place for worship as well as the other things that you want to do in Orange County. But this will be the center of our faith here in Orange County.
Mm-hmm. And this is, as you said too, what a way to showcase a day like this can show the world and the country what can be done here. Talk about this day. We're about 4:15 into the day, but I know there's been a lot of planning that's been involved. And what's it like for you to see this starting to come together, actually almost coming to the close,
yes.
But a great day.
This was 4 years in the making. 4 years ago, when Magnificat did their conference in Boston, there were some families from Orange County that went, and they met with Mr. Dumont and said, please bring something like this to Orange County. 4 years ago. And it is unbelievable to be here today and see this coming together. I think it's also, you know, we in Orange County, many people think of us as living in the shadow of LA. If you're in LA. If you're in Orange County, you're very clear our glow is just fine, thank you very much. But it's really powerful to think that here, this beautiful publication, Magnificat, that has been so important to the church in terms of the daily office and giving us a way to pray together, you know, as a Church Universal, that they did identify and select Orange County for this is very telling. I think in this, the year of evangelization, we are just really at the starting point of something phenomenal. And this, the year of faith, it is such a gift.
What is the hope now? So we start with today, let's say, just a beautiful day with such enthusiasm. Where do we go from here?
Mm-hmm. Truly, we're only limited by our own imaginations, and the Holy Spirit is egging us on, so it's pretty wide open. We have great plans for this in the coming months, starting in January. We take, the Crystal Cathedral Ministries is still here. Mm-hmm. They will be officially moving from this property in June, and we will officially move in. The St. Callistus Parish, which is about an eighth of a mile down the street, will move and become the Crystal Cathedral Parish. We are already making movements. They will lead the sacramental life. The diocese will have their offices here, so they'll be responsible for the administrative role of serving the 1.2 million Catholics. But the cathedral marketing team, if you will, is responsible for reaching out to the world. Mm-hmm. Again, this property is not Orange County Catholics. This is the church's property. Mm-hmm. So our plans are big, really big. And the Holy Spirit, like I said, is egging us on. So we're very excited.
Well, you're reaching out to the world right now, and we love big plans. Well, Bernie, thank you so much for being with us today and the great work and how welcoming you've been to all of us at Catholic TV and to our audience. We appreciate it.
It's been truly a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bernie.